Hi there. Good morning. My name's Sherry. You forgot my name. Um, and I just started yesterday making videos regarding grief. And I hope some of the information yesterday was helpful. So I will just make another short video. This won't be as long as yesterday's. Yesterday's I was kind of just getting into my whole journey. So today, some things I want to talk about. Um, and I apologize for the way I look. I just got off work. But anyway, anyway, um, the one thing I want to talk about that I didn't bring up at all yesterday is this is the holiday season, and grief and the holiday season don't go very well together. Um, we as someone that's grieving, there is definitely triggers that are going that always make things worse. That's just there always is. Birthdays, anniversaries, you know, uh, any holiday, but definitely Christmas. Christmas is going to be a hard one, and so the only reason I'm bringing this up is because I think everybody pretty much knows that at the holidays, anybody that's lost somebody is having a hard time. So if you have someone that is grieving, be mindful of that. Uh, be respectful, and just try to remember that person may be going through a rough time, and and you may think, oh well, it's been a while, they should be fine. But you know what? Like I said, it's a trigger. So even if it's been 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or whatever the case may be, the holidays are going to make them really miss that person. So so my advice to you, if you have someone, if you know someone that has lost somebody, just be really mindful at the holidays, and just know that they're hurting, and try to show them a little love, a little be kind to them, and don't say silly things. Don't make comments like, don't make the comments that I was telling you in the first video not to make. Don't make the comments of, aren't you over that yet? Shouldn't you be done grieving? And, and anything negative, don't be doing. Okay? All right. Some other things I wanted to bring up. I remember I had just thought about Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving is hard for me, as well as many other people. Thanksgiving is hard for them. But the thing that I have found that has happened to me, and I don't know if this happens to anybody else, you can let me know in the comments if it does and what you do about it, okay? Because at Thanksgiving, I used to always host Thanksgiving. Well, that has stopped. Even before my husband passed, that had stopped because he was sick. Well, anyway, now my stepson and his wife do Thanksgiving at their house. Well, he, of course, had invited me, and I tried to let him know that I feel very uncomfortable when I go to his house. And I think it hurt his feelings. I didn't mean to hurt his feelings, but let me explain what I meant. And I tried to explain it the best I could to him. First of all, when I go over there, there's a lot of people all the time. And most of them are family, but there's also friends and things like that. There's always, anytime he has something at his house, there's a lot of people there, okay? And the feeling that I get every single time I'm there is, well, I get sadness, but I feel alone. I feel alone in a room full of people and a room full of mostly family, and I will feel alone. And it's hard, hard, hard. And I don't know if anybody else has experienced that. And if you have, let me know. Let me know in the comments how you overcome that. An alone feeling when you're in a room full of people. And I know the reason I feel alone when I go over there, because whenever I ever went over there, I always had my husband with me. I didn't go over there by myself usually. And so it kicks in. But yet, if everybody comes over to my house, I'm fine. That doesn't happen because this is my space. And that's why I like them. That's why at Christmas I want everybody to come over here. They actually wanted to do Christmas at their house, and I was like, I'm still having Christmas here. But anyway, so that is another thing I was just going to bring up about feeling alone in a room full of people. That is definitely the grief kicking in, and it's strange. It's so strange that you will be in a room full of people and feel alone. It's just very, very strange to me. Some other things that I also wanted to bring up. I have noticed, and it's very frustrating to me. I've noticed, and I mentioned this yesterday, that at the year mark, people think that you should be okay. But I've noticed that also at once around a year, people stop saying his name. People don't mention him. People just don't say his name anymore. Very rarely, sometimes I will hear his son, refer to him as a dad, but I don't hear his name anymore. So because of that, I'm going to say his name. And I think they don't say his name because they think that it will hurt me, but it hurts me worse to not hear it. Not for people not to talk about him anymore. So his name is Buddy, and he was everybody's buddy. And, that wasn't, his name was actually Alan, but nobody called him that. He was Buddy. He was Buddy to everybody. He was my buddy. And that fit him perfect. So I will say Buddy. You will hear me refer to him. His name is Buddy. But the reason I'm bringing that up is also for people who know somebody that's going through the grieving process. Just be mindful of that. Every now and then, mention their name. It lets them know that you cared about that person. And another thing that I have noticed is that people are uncomfortable with pictures of my husband that I might have in my home or on my phone. People see, if people see the picture, they're like, it's like they don't know what to say. Is that your husband? Oh. And they seem very, very uncomfortable. It's almost like they're thinking, like for instance, on my phone, I have him as my background. And it's, people act like I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't have that. But I will have pictures of him wherever I want to have pictures of him. And, I think what it is more than anything is people are just uncomfortable. They don't know what to say. So they either say something stupid or nothing at all. I would prefer the nothing at all, personally. I also wanted to bring up, because I'm talking about a negative, so I want to bring up a little positive. Some other things I found that are very, very helpful. I have never in my life been a crafter. And I knew I had to do something to keep me busy, to keep my mind occupied. Because my mind, if I'm not doing anything, my mind goes straight back to everything that I don't even want to think about. I just think about him and the illness and, the death, and everything it just dry, and I'll be in tears. So I started crafting. Well, obviously there's lots of different crafts. So I started looking at what I might be interested in. And I bought me a heat press. And I bought a tumbler press. And so I make t-shirts now. I make tumblers. I bought a sublimation printer so that I could sublimate whatever I want on my tumbler or my t-shirts. Now, that being said, you don't have to go all out and buy everything that I bought. That's just what I did. You could do any craft you want to do. Or you don't even have to do a craft at all. Just be mindful to try to find something to keep your mind occupied. That being said, there is another thing that's very inexpensive. Coloring. And I don't mean kids coloring books. I mean, there is adult coloring books. There's also just online, you can get adult coloring pages and print them out and have some colored pencils. It's very soothing to your mind. It keeps your mind occupied. And also you can get that online. There's actually games online, coloring games where you're actually coloring online. But it's something to keep your mind occupied. So I found that to be very, very, very helpful. So anyway, I'm going to keep this really short today because I'm really tired. I have worked 5 days, 10-hour shifts each day, and I still have to work 10 hours tomorrow. So I'm just really, really tired. Amazon is really bad about working us to death during the holiday season. So anyway, I just be blessed today. Have a wonderful day. And remember, if you have any questions at all that you want to ask me regarding grief, absolutely put it in the comments. If you have any suggestions, anything you think that would help me, I'm open to hear anything. So again, have a blessed day, and I will check in again tomorrow. Bye-bye.